There's this thing we do when we want something we're ashamed of wanting. We convince ourselves we hate it instead. It's safer that way, and I did that with God. With faith, everywhere I went I saw religion and felt something stir in me, but I had labelled it wrong. I called it distaste when it was actually curiosity, maybe even longing. So instead I armoured up and I started learning about these religions, started learning about faith, but specifically to argue against them, to prove them false, and to have that feeling of superiority. I thought I was seeking knowledge, but really I was seeking permission to keep running. I'm Brogan. This is Faith in Progress, and this is about finally stopping the run. To tell you the truth, I need to go back to show you how I got here, because this started early. I wasn't raised in a religious household, but religion was around me constantly. Whether it was at school or at my youth centre, everywhere I went. And whenever I encountered it, I felt something sharp and immediate. And as soon as I did, I decided this feeling was bad. Things like, this isn't me, or this is stupid, or it's just cringy came to my head. But what I was really feeling beneath all of that was this pride and arrogance mixed with fear of being a part of something that others could laugh at. So I did this really smart thing where I disguised my passion for it as developing knowledge to knock it down in conversation, in arguments, whether I felt threatened by it, but really I got to follow it like I actually wanted to. But then it all escalated. I'd gone from passively rejecting it to a full-blown interrogator for every mention of God, every idea or belief that came with this faith. So to do that better, I realised I'd have to study it, Christianity and all its flaws, its teachings and its beliefs, all its stories of forgiveness and sin, but only to find holes in them. I always wanted to be the smartest person in the room, that person who could explain exactly why others' beliefs were irrational or cult-like. I needed the power that came from it. But somewhere along the way, I had buried my actual feelings so deep that I forgot they had ever existed. I genuinely thought I was this person who didn't need faith or religion, and not someone who was running from it. But then I started dating this girl, and she had really found God. Her faith wasn't theoretical or cultural, it was real and present, and being with her, I couldn't ignore that pull anymore. That part of me that had always been curious, that had always been looking for a way and finally had its permission. Something in me recognised that this is what I'd been circling. But the embarrassment was overwhelming. I mean, how could I admit that I wanted something after years of mocking it over and over? I couldn't. And so I came up with another smart idea. I just decided to follow her faith. Whatever she believed, I believed. Whatever she said about God, I echoed. And I was doing it to maintain the relationship. But really, I was just using her as a shield. I knew I was so close to what I wanted, but I wasn't walking through the door myself. When the relationship ended, and of course it ended, I thought that would be it. I'd go back to not caring, but I couldn't. The questions didn't just stay, they evolved. They stopped being about proving Christianity wrong and started being about me. It was less logical and more emotion. I started asking, what if the person you can't forgive is you? Or what if you know beyond any doubt you don't deserve to be given? Or what if grace feels like a lie when you look in the mirror? These questions ripped open wounds I'd convinced myself were healed. But they weren't healed. They were buried, and suddenly I was facing this terrifying possibility that if I pursued faith, I'd have to deal with all of it all over again. All the shame, all the guilt, all the things I'd spent years running from. So I tried to stop. I decided I was done with all of it, done searching, done questioning, done wrestling with faith. I just wanted peace, but I couldn't. I'd tell myself I was done, and then I'd catch myself Googling questions at 2 a.m. I'd have these brutal sessions with myself, arguing back and forth about whether I should pursue this and whether it was even real. And through all of it, this crushing loneliness. asking if God wanted me to find him. Why did it feel like I was searching in the dark? And that question haunted me. Juggling that with my life, which was already felt like it was falling apart, it left me with nothing but anger, fear, and isolation. I was in this world struggling, and I felt like I was all alone. And then one night, I broke. Not loudly, not dramatically. I was just empty. Exhausted from arguing with myself. Exhausted from the loneliness. Exhausted from trying to outrun something that kept following me. So I stopped fighting. Not faith, but the struggle. I let the embarrassment fall away. I stopped caring what it meant that I changed my mind. I didn't want certainty anymore. I wanted closure. I needed to know one way or the other. So I decided to go to YouTube. I found a Life.Church video where Pastor Craig Rochelle was talking about forgiveness. And I watched it, and at first I thought it was just some more nonsense from another pastor with some fake spiritual awakening, but his words didn't hit me all at once. They landed in pieces. And some of them hurt. And some of them gave me hope. But all of them broke something in me. Nothing dramatic happened. There was no rush, no sudden clarity, no lightning strike or light bulb in my head, just a deep, unfamiliar stillness that felt like rest. Like I wasn't bracing for impact anymore. Like I could finally stop holding myself together so tightly. What I felt wasn't answers. It was permission. Permission to stop pretending. To stop performing intelligence instead of honesty. To stop punishing myself for needing something bigger than me. For the first time, I wasn't divided, and I wasn't arguing, and I wasn't running. I was just there, present, known, and somehow without trying to become someone new. I felt closer to who I'd been all along. See, I wish I could tell you that that feeling lasted forever, but it didn't. The intensity faded. The stillness didn't stay that powerful every single day, but the memory of it, that became an anchor. And for a while I wondered if I'd imagined it, if it wasn't real. But I began to understand something. You see, first there's the encounter, and then there's the faith. The encounter is what breaks you open. Faith is what you do after. Walking through that door every day, even when the feelings aren't there to carry you, and the embarrassment, it is still there. But for the first time, I'm choosing to face it rather than retreat into it. I'm learning that overcoming doesn't mean the fear disappears. It just means you stop letting it decide for you. So here's my question for you. Have you had a moment like this with God? Or are you still fighting him? Are you following someone else's relationship with God because you're too embarrassed to pursue your own? What would it take for you to stop struggling against him and just seek honestly? This podcast isn't about having faith all figured out. I don't have it. But I want to be asked questions, and I want to ask questions. I want to learn and grow in this, hear others' stories, and be part of something that can help people take a step, whether they're coming from a similar place or somewhere completely different. But I wanted to start here, with that one night when I finally stopped running from God, because that's when everything changed for me, and maybe hearing about it changes something in your relationship with him. Thanks for listening. I'm Brogan, and this is Faith in Progress.